Well, some good news for people in the Eastern Sierra as the State Air Board Monday ruled against the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power in that Owens Lake appeal. Now, a press release from the Great Basin Air Pollution Control District officer Ted Shady states that in a long-awaited decision, the California Air Resources Board ruled that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power is required to construct additional air pollution controls on the dried Owens Lake bed. The LADWP had opposed existing federal, state, and local air pollution control laws because of the cost of the required controls. Now, the press release goes on to state that LA's DWP's water diversions from the Eastern Sierra caused the Owens Lake bed to go dry, creating the largest single source of fine particulate matter air pollution in the country. Now, particulate air emissions are a danger to human health and the environment. The particulates lodge deep in the lungs, causing respiratory injuries and additional risks to children and the elderly. Over the past year, LADWP's operations have created dust storms exceeding the federal standards on 25 separate days, resulting in the issuance of local health alerts. Now, in late 2011, the press release goes on to state that the agency responsible for enforcing the law, that's the Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control District, determined that an additional 2.86 square miles of the Owens Lake bed require dust controls in order to meet air quality standards in the Owens Valley. Now, the LADWP appealed Great Basin's determination to the State Air Board, and a hearing was held on the issues in Sacramento last June. The Air Board's decision supporting Great Basin was again released on Monday. Now, Ted Shady, again, he is the Great Basin Air Pollution Control District officer. He said, quote, "The State Air Board found in favor of Great Basin on every one of the issues, having across-the-board support from the premier technical and legal air quality organization in the state is very gratifying. The ARB spent an entire year carefully evaluating all the LADWP's objections and found no grounds for the LADWP's claims that no additional controls are required. Great Basin encourages LADWP to move forward immediately to protect the air quality of the Owens Valley," air quote. And again, that was from Ted Shady. Well, last Friday, the Bureau of Land Management issued a draft joint environmental impact statement / environmental impact report, and that was analyzing a proposal to develop additional geothermal resources near Mammoth Lakes. Now, a 60-day public comment period runs through January 15th, 2013, and public meetings are now set for Wednesday, December 5th. That'll be taking place at the Mammoth Lakes Community Center, and then again on Thursday, December 6th, and that'll be at the Crowley Lake Community Center. Both of those meetings are scheduled from 6 until 8 p.m. Now, the proposed 33 megawatt Casa Diablo 4 geothermal development project would be built on the Inyo National Forest within existing federal geothermal leases and private lands. It would include construction of a new geothermal power plant and substation, up to 16 new production / injection wells, multiple pipelines and access roads. A 650-foot long transmission line is proposed to interconnect the new power plant to the existing Southern California Edison substation at Substation Road. Now, the proposed Casa Diablo 4 plant, substation, access roads, well pads, pipelines, and transmission line would occupy approximately 80 acres. Now, the agency preferred alternative 3. Now, that differs from the applicant's proposal in pipeline alignments and the location of one well. If you would like to get some more information on this or how to comment, you can contact 760-873-2424. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this following report. Earlier this month, law enforcement arrested Gregory Shelmuski. He's age 43, and that was in Arizona on the alleged charge of insurance fraud. The Fort Independence Indian tribe was one of the victims in this fraud case. Now, according to the Sacramento Bee, Shelmuski faces fraud and money laundering charges. The Bee reported that according to his indictment, Shelmuski set up a company in Roseville to provide low-cost workers' compensation insurance. Now, the story goes on to say that the accused had partnered with the Fort Independence Indian Reservation to, quote, establish a company called Independent Staffing Solutions, end quote. quote. Now, the story says the tribe owned the company, but Shilmuski ran it. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office has alleged that the defendant began to divert and misappropriate millions of dollars for his personal use. The Sacramento Bee reported that court records say Shilmuski owed the tribal-owned company $7 million. Prosecutors allege that the firm victimized employers as well as the tribe. Sierra Wave Media's Bennett Kessler contacted tribal leaders for comment. Their attorney, Jack Duran, sent a statement from tribal chairman Israel Naylor, and that says that the arrest of Shilmuski begins the, quote, end of a very difficult chapter in the history of the Fort Independence Indian community, end quote. Now, Naylor also said that, quote, what started out as a viable and innovative solution to workers' compensation insurance via a tribal plan turned into an example of greed and avarice, end quote. Now, the press release says that the tribe's federal status and ability to use that status for economic development purposes had worked well for other projects, but not for the insurance plan when, quote, Mr. Shilmuski allegedly began to siphon funds intended to support the business for his and others' own financial gain. Shilmuski appeared in federal court in Sacramento for an arraignment last week. He reportedly pled not guilty. Well, Eastern Sierra Connect Regional Broadband Consortium, they held a workshop recently in June Lake, and Sierra Wave Media's Bill Lefevre was on hand.
Great, so my name is Nate Greenberg. I'm the Digital 395 Project Manager for Mono County, and we're here today in June Lake at the Community Center hosting our first annual Broadband Forum in Mono County. I'm the Vice Chair for the Eastern Sierra Connect Regional Broadband Consortium as well, and the consortium is putting on the forum today, and the purpose of the forum is to reach out to the community at large in Eastern Kern, Inyo, and Mono counties, residents, businesses, service providers, to talk about how they can get access to Digital 395 and what the internet will do for them. We're working on various different programs to improve digital literacy and to increase the adoption rate. And that means building networks in communities that were previously unserved or underserved, and in areas where communities have access to internet, working with the adopters or the folks that would actually be purchasing service and teaching them how they can use the internet to improve the quality of their life.
I believe the next step is going to be kind of a combination of a lot of steps. I think telemedicine is going to come in, the health is going to be a big issue. I think the economical gain by all this is going to be tremendous, especially in our local areas up here. The tourism-based formula that they use today to come here is changing dramatically with this by adding longer stays, which means more money in the area. That's going to be a big drive. What we're also working on right now is the outreach, and that's to the senior citizens and the parents of the students that know how to use a lot of this. We're trying to get computers and so forth for the schools. We're also working on the libraries. And that's just about it. We're going to, like I said, in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to do an awful lot of outreach and hopefully get more and more people hooked up to high-speed internet for our future of all our area here. The health component is really the teleconferencing that they're doing already. Lone Pine has one going right now where they can actually, the patient can come in and they go through outreach on different doctors for specialists. And so this is going to be a big component. It already is, let's say, in the cities, the inner cities have this, they use all the time. And basically what they'll do is they'll have certain doctors on hand for certain things, so at certain days they'll come in and they can actually find out about their cancer, maybe diagnose it, help with the treatments. That's really what telehealth is about.
So rural communities then will be better connected to a better quality of the healthcare system.
That is correct, and that's going to be an important factor of it, is getting our rural areas to have a lot better health care by having doctors intermixed with them all over the world. I mean, there's talk that the top 5 doctors, will be involved, whether it's cancer, whether it's heart surgery, anything like that. I think what it's going to also help with is our local hospitals probably being able to provide better service that they send out for now, let's say to Reno and places like that.
Well, we thank Sierra Wave Media's Bill LaFever for that. And we will note that Eastern Sierra Connect Regional Broadband Consortium holding a telehealth workshop, and that is set for Lone Pine on November 29th. Now, you can check out our website, sierrawave.net, and click on the telehealth workshop banner, or you can call 760-446-1974 for more information. We'll be back with more news.